Hi, my name is Ian Gack with Explode Swing, and in this video I'm going to go over my bat leg progression series. So this is one of the series that I like to do with almost every one of my hitters to help teach the swing the right way and to help teach the sequence of the swing the right way. So how we start the swing, the drill, first we start off in our bat leg position, right, which is why I call it the bat leg progression drill. So our bat leg position is going to be basically, I've already taken my stride and my load, I've gotten to my good bat leg position, so my lower half is going to be with my front foot 90 degrees to 45 depending on how you typically stride. Make sure weight's inside the foot and the front knee. The back foot is going to be turned up on the toe with the back knee feeling like it's turning in and forward towards our front foot heel. Now the way we line this up though is taking the back foot and lining it up with the front foot heel, or maybe even slightly behind the heel. That way we feel our body being behind us. A lot of times, really good hitters, when we make a good aggressive move from the backside, actually a negative move occurs if we're firing our backside the right way. Negative move meaning my back foot is actually moving slightly away from home plate. Okay, so that's why we line our back foot up in line with the front foot heel, or maybe even slightly behind the front foot heel. Okay, so we feel our body being behind us. From here, we're going to put ourselves in a good bat leg position. So a couple things to note here is that the elbow is going to be in tight to the body, kind of feeling like it's in and back towards my back hip. Palm up, palm down. Knob's going to be right around my belly button. Barrel's on plane. So if we're using a T like we are here, you think the knob working to the back of the ball. Barrel should be on plane right behind that ball. From here, we're going to hinge our wrist. All right, we're hinged with our wrist. We're going to release that ball, barrel to contact. All right, just to feel that. It's kind of what I call breaking it down. So bat leg to contact. You're going to pull it back, and then we're just going to go to check swing. All right, letting it fire and feeling that barrel kind of release and whip through the zone from that bat leg position. So typically I do that for, I don't know, anywhere 3 to 5. It can be any number that you need to get it down and feel it right, but usually do somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5. And then from there, we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to go all the way to extension. Okay, so that one I kind of rolled over the top. And when you've watched ball flight, we want to feel it, we want to see it going rising, right, off the bat. Rising line drives, that's what I'm all about, rising line drives. So make your adjustments based on swing to swing, okay, or rep to rep. All right, that one's a little bit better. A couple of checkpoints when we finish, especially on the extension, feeling knob pointing back towards your chest. Barrel should be pointing roughly in the same direction as the ball flight, and then also checking our posture. So when I finish, I should have shoulder under shoulder, still have some good tilt towards home plate. If we are finishing and everything's over here, then typically we didn't put our best swing on the ball. All right, so after we get through our bat leg portion of it, we're going to take ourselves to what I call backside fire, which is essentially we are in our hitting position already. So I've already taken my stride and my load. All right, I put myself into my good hitting position. So back foot should be about 90 degrees, knees inside the feet, front foot should be 90 degrees to 45, all right, don't care, depends on how you stride. Pressure between the knees, hips are back, chest is forward. So I have them in good posture, okay? And from here, we're in backside fire, but we're working from what I call slot, okay? So our back elbow is going to be in and back, thinking towards our back hip, and then the barrel's still gonna be up. All right, and knob's not quite maybe to the catchers, but a little bit pointed down more towards our back foot, right? And with this also, we're going to be pinching the back knee in slightly. So that's my slot position, which is basically where we're at when we make our first move. That's our first initial move to the ball after we get to our good hitting position. So that's how we set up from slot. And from here, all we're going to do, we're going to break it down. So without loading or doing anything else, we're just going to turn to get to that bat leg position, the one we were already just in at the beginning. Now I'm in bat leg, release the contact, that's my breakdown. Then from here, I'm just going to check my swing. Turn and go. Okay, so you're starting to feel a little pulled down, a little bit of whip. Barrel's getting on plane behind it and releasing through the zone. We're going to check our swings for the first one, for the first sets, I should say. So 3 to 5 usually is where I work with hitters. But again, any number of reps that you feel like you need to get it down. From here, instead of stopping at extension now, we're just going to swing all the way through. With the bat leg, I typically just go from here to check swing or stop at contact to extension, because it's just hard to swing all the way from here. You actually are going to typically see a lot of hitters try to compensate, and it becomes hard to do that right. So that's why I only go check swing and extension from bat leg. But from slot position or our backside fire, we're going to check our swings for the first ones, and now we're going to full swing. So same thing, we're going to break it down from a slot, turn behind, release the bat to contact, then from here just go. And now we're feeling everything fire and turn from that backside. And again, looking for ball flight should be rising line drives to any direction that you're working. So opposite field or pull slide or middle. Right now I'm just working middle. The next part, after we go through the backside fire or the slot position, we're going to go to what I call down to out, or it's be crossover down to out. And how we set this up is get to your good hitting position, right? So since we're working middle, we're lining that ball right up with my front foot. From here, we're just going to take our foot all the way back and we're crossing it over. So from here, what we're going to work on, you're just going to have your hands where you normally hold them when you hit, and we're just going to turn, right? Putting all the weight on that rear leg. So this leg should be really pretty loose on the ground. We're going to turn, all right? Just thinking swivel the hips, we're turning them in, and we're going to hinge, okay? So turn and hinge, right? So that means kind of bend. We're going to bend at the waist a little bit, kind of like you're thinking doing RDL, okay? So turn and hinge. When we hinge, we're not pushing that knee out, so you shouldn't feel any kind of pressure going into that lead leg. It's just the hips are going back. So that's our hinge position. So if you know what RDL is, in the weight room, Russian deadlift, we hinge the hips and we're working our hamstring and glutes. Same thing here. So turn and hinge. At the same time I'm hinging, I'm starting to gather, right? So I'm loading with the upper body, right? At the top with the elbow, gathering in and back. So turn and hinge, okay? So that's going to be our first move. That's our gather or our load. After we turn and hinge, right? So this is just for one, turn and hinge. Now we're going to turn, hinge, lift to make our forward move. So the reason we cross over is to make you feel like you actually have to lift to get across, all right? If we start to just kind of fall forward, we're going to trip on our back foot. So that's why I kind of like this a little bit better than you'll see some hover drills where, you know, I used to do that. I still use it from time to time, but a lot of times players will kind of start to fall forward out of it a little too easy. So I like the crossover portion of it for this down to out drill. So it's going to be turn, hinge, and load. Turn, hinge, and load, lift to our good forward move. From here, we're going to get to that slot position, bat leg, contact. That's our whole breakdown. Then after this, we're just going to go and check our swing. So just make sure that you're letting this turn and hinge, this load and this gather, lead that leg lift, okay? So it's me. All right, checking our swing. From there, we get 3 to 5 good reps. We're going to go full swing, okay? So one key on this is that if you're working with a partner or a coach, the coach or the partner should be able to say stop at any moment as you're moving forward, and you should be able to get to that good hitting position and hold it, right? One key is if you're hearing stop and you're ending up like this, or you can't stop and you're just going and swinging, and that tells you didn't have enough control of that forward move. On the flip side, they say stop and you are really heavy on that back leg and you end up like this in your hitting position where all our weight's back, then you know you're doing it wrong as well. So we should be able to land in a good hitting position, 50-50, knees inside the feet, good posture. If they do say it late and you're able to, and you have to check your swing, then it should be coming from the backside, not lunging out forward, okay? So from here, next we're gonna break it down again. So it's gonna be turn, hinge and load, gather, load, right? And then it's gonna be turn and hinge to leg lift forward, slot. So elbow and knee are gonna start to work together, barrel still up, bat leg, contact. All right, and then from there, just go full swing. Turn and hinge, load, and go. All right, so we're taking that full swing again. A coach or a partner should be able to say stop at any moment. Next, we just go from our crossover down to out drill to a normal regular swing. So you get in your normal stance. So for me, this is probably my normal stance, all right? Find my depth of contact for that pitch middle, all right? And now I'm gonna do the same thing I just did. So there's nothing different now at this point. We're doing the exact same thing we just did with the crossover, but now we're in our normal stance. So first thing I'm gonna do is turn and hinge and load. They all work at the same time. So the turn is first and the hinge and load work at the same time. So I gather into that back hip or coil into that back hip. Turn, load, turn, load. Leg lift to hitting position, right? The forward move, the hitting position. Slot, bat leg, contact. Okay, and then you just go from there. All right, so really letting, here emphasis is letting this turn, that coil, that gather and load into that backside, lead the leg lift. And that's how you're gonna be able to slow yourself down, control that good forward move, and put yourself in a good position to hit and create better timing, right? Timing window to hit. So from here, now we get 3 to 5 good reps on the check swings. We're gonna go full swings, okay? So it's gonna be turn, hinge and load to leg lift, okay? Breaking it down, slot, turn the bat leg, contact. Okay, and then from there, just go. Okay. All right, and that's the full bat leg progression, okay? So that's the full drill. One thing I'll note is that I break it down for every single rep early on with hitters, so it can become very kind of lengthy with the drill, really breaking it down, but it's really a good drill. I really encourage to break it down for every single rep and really get the feel. Once you become really good with it and you get a great feel for it, you can start to kind of cut some parts out of it. So now maybe you just break it down for the very first rep, all right? But then just go, go, go on all the other reps, right? With the check swings and the full swings. So that's our bat leg progression, great progression to really help teach the swing and reinforce good movements.